Hello again, everyone. This is Gilmer, and this is episode 41 of my Let's Play War in the East Grand Campaign. I am playing as the Soviets. I say that every time, but you never know. There might be one person who does not know the exact particulars and has skipped forward to this point. Probably not, but you never know. So I am doing a few attacks, and I'm really ready to go ahead and I'm almost ready to go ahead and process a turn. And I'm just kind of going over last little bits to see if there are any attacks, and I am just so you never know if there's one there or not. So let's do it. Let's process a turn. I've got a nice good density around Kiev. Keep it safe. I'm almost. I control the hexes, but so I almost have this one pocketed. These two units pocketed. 101st Jaeger Division and 57th Infantry Division. I don't know if they were considered very good or very bad or elite units, but I do know that if I can, I am going to bring them down. So, anyway, we had, what is this? This is a 40th Army. Who's, okay. So, anyway, I've pocketed a couple of units, and I'm not pocketing probably as many as I should. Although I don't know that I've had that many good chances, but I do think that at some point I will pocket more. Like in this instance, I might be able to do it at some point, but yeah, I just haven't really had a chance to be honest. That'll happen. So anyway, let's process a turn. Why don't we? Can I move up here? Well, I don't really want to move up there because I can't really get that many units into that hex right there. So I don't really want to move up there. I'd love to pocket that, which I think would, no, yeah, we've already looked at that once. And you see how it's two Romanian divisions and they're at one. So I did move that one. I don't know how much stronger. That will... I should have moved that one probably. But, what the hell am I thinking? I really would want them in that one. A friend of mine suggested talking a little bit more about some of the background, some of the history, a little bit more in depth than Wikipedia history, but I mean, I'd love to do that. I just don't know if it's necessarily possible for me, only because to do that I would have to read some books, and I'm not against reading books. I love reading books, actually, but the problem is that it costs money to buy these books, and although they're not that expensive, most of them, or I don't know, he suggested a few, and even if I bought the ones he suggested or others, they're not that expensive, but it does take away from my funds to do YouTubes, because I buy every one of my games. And I buy a lot of them on sale, but that's part of the reason why I bought them by myself. Now I know I just built a nice computer, and you might say, well, you got plenty of money, you just built a nice computer, and to an extent that's true, but I'm going to be somewhat short of funds into the near future. Not too bad, but I am going to kind of keep an eye on expenses. Now, if I can buy a book for $2.99, because I read everything on a Kindle browser or a Kindle itself, I can buy something for $2.99, I probably will pick it up. And I really would love to tell people a little bit more about the history. Almost everybody who has even read even just a little bit about the World War II, between Germany and the Soviet Union, knows about Stalingrad and the complete annihilation of the German Sixth Army, which was, I think, 600,000 men or more. Might have even been over 1 million. I don't remember, but most everybody knows about Stalingrad. The German army had pushed all the way into Stalingrad and actually captured Stalingrad, but the Soviets kind of had a plan to surround them inside Stalingrad, and the Soviets would be outside, and they finally put into effect their attack, trapped the Sixth Army inside Stalingrad, and at the end, the commander, and I don't know the commander's name, he did eventually surrender. And a lot of the men that were captured in Stalingrad, a lot of the German army soldiers never, even though they surrendered, they never made it home. They died in gulags, the Soviet prisons in Siberia, and they never made it home. And I mean, it was a fairly significant number too. I mean, all that you can learn on Wikipedia, and like he was saying, it'd probably be better to learn a little bit more. There's things like the Cherkasy Pocket and the Battle of Kursk, the Kursk Bulge. There was a big battle at Kharkov, and some of the biggest tank battles happened in Kharkov and Kursk, wherever Kursk is. I'm not that familiar with the map, but there's Cherkasy, or Cherkasy, however you pronounce that, or that's it actually. And Kursk, I'm not necessarily sure where Kursk is, but Yeah, there were the biggest tank battles in the history of the world happened during this war, during this part. And I think the biggest one ever happened at Kharkov, but I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure there was a huge tank battle in and around Kharkov. So yeah, I would love to tell a little bit more history than even what I've done to date, because I do. I love history, and I actually should probably know more about the the Russian front, as the Germans called it, even though they were the Soviets. Um, I should know more about it than I do, to be quite honest. I just haven't read up that much on it. I have touched on it briefly about how the Soviets took the brunt of the German army, and they rightfully say we fought the harder fight. We, 3/4 or however much it was on our front. We took the brunt of the German army, and that's true. I mean, nobody will disagree with that. But they also have to understand that Stalin signed a non-aggression pact with Germany at the beginning of World War II, and they partitioned Poland together. And the only reason that the Soviet Union entered the war on the side of the Allies is that Germany and Hitler lost their frickin' minds and decided to attack Russia. And so that's the only reason why Russia was, or the Soviet Union was on the Ally side. If it weren't for that, they wouldn't have joined the war at all. They would have just sat back and, picked up the easy pickings. They tried to pick up Yugoslavia, and, they would have picked up all of Lithuania and Estonia and Latvia and all those. And, I mean, they still kind of controlled them pretty much up until 1989, when the Soviet Union collapsed and Russia resurfaced as Russia, and all the other states that they control basically took over their own destiny. And so if Stalin had not been attacked, he probably would have done that anyway, as without as much bloodshed. Obviously, he would have loved to do that. He didn't get that chance though, because, as I mentioned, Hitler attacked him, and the rest is history, obviously. But that kind of tempers my sympathy for the Russians when they talk about how they took the brunt of the East, the German army. I mean, yeah, you did, but it was partly your own fault. If you had fortified and joined the Allies to begin with, they might not have ever attacked you, or World War II might not have even ever happened, because if they had refused to partition Poland, Germany might have delayed or even not even attacked Poland. And that was kind of what started World War II. I mean, there were other things, obviously, and Hitler was wanting to fight. I mean, he was definitely spoiling for a fight, especially with the West in France. He was still a little pissed off about World War One, and a lot of Germans were too. They were still, there were still some leftovers from World War One. Some of the treaties were still in effect. The Rhineland was supposed to be demilitarized, based off of World War One and the Treaty of Versailles, and a lot of that pissed the Germans off, and it probably would have pissed me off too. But I don't necessarily know that I would have started World War II over it. I'm not. It's not a laughing matter, obviously. But anyway, I've talked enough. 14 minutes, and I've talked my ears off. Talked your ears off too, probably. And somebody once told me I shouldn't ramble so much, so let's process a turn. Oh, messed that up, didn't I? That's not process a turn, that's a report. And it's kind of a balance. Some people don't like, the fluff, the filler or whatever, where you're talking about history or, they see it as rambling. And then others kind of like it because they want to know a little bit more about history, and this is one of the ways they learn about it. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert on history. I don't know if anybody could be an expert on history, but I do know a little bit about some of the, some of what has gone on. And obviously, I've already admitted I don't know enough about the war between Germany and the Soviets, as much as I should anyway. And we had our retreat there. Crap. Well, at least it's more or less weighted to my side on the victories on attacks, I think, at this point. But they still are getting their victories. And part of my losses are because I'm pushing so hard. If I wasn't pushing so hard, they wouldn't be they wouldn't be attacking as much. They wouldn't have me right next to them, attacking them constantly. So that's part of the reason. But I do believe that there is a necessity of pushing as hard as possible, not letting them get dug in. I don't want them to get dug in, because if you let them keep getting dug in every time they move back, then that's just a recipe for disaster, a recipe for losing. I played a smaller scenario, and the person I played was playing the Germans, and I was playing the Soviets, and he took up a defensive position behind the Dnieper River, and I kept thinking that I would get stronger and he would get weaker, and I didn't attack, and he got entrenched, and he beat me easily. No question about it. I surrendered. I said there's no way that I can do anything at this point, and he agreed, and we called it off, and he won. So that's what happens as the Russians if you don't push. You're just asking for trouble. That guy's not going to last there. But I can't get anybody there to stack on him. So that's gonna be a route. Who will be routed? So anyway, I'm just going to keep on attacking. I'm not going to play it safe. I'm going to push as hard as I can every time, because if I don't, I will regret it. And that's why I have these units behind the attacking units, because as soon as I get a push forward, I immediately use the ones right behind it to advance a step, because they usually use up, the attacking units usually use up too much of their movement points to really do much. That doesn't seem right. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Oh, I guess it is right. See, I can't get anybody behind there. Ah, damn. I did order a mic boom, finally. I finally remembered. Shit, man, I keep screwing that up. It's a little frustrating not not being able to get any units. Just one more hex. Oh, what I was saying was I did buy Microsoft a boom stand or a boom arm or whatever they call it, and I should be getting that next week sometime, so that will definitely help me out, because it's either put the microphone down or do this, press this button. And pressing the button, it's a good solution if you're have trouble. You can't use both of your arms or whatever for whatever reason. But it's not an ideal solution if you have the necessary movement in both arms, or it's just better to use to be able to use both arms, both hands. Kind of a little leery moving him up, because I think he was the one before that was pushed back, but I guess he'll be okay. Now the big question is, can I get a unit back behind him? I cannot. That's a pretty strong little stack right there. I know I'm not going to win this, but I'm just doing it more as a kind of a spoiling attack, so that they won't be as strong as they would be if I hadn't attacked them at all. Oh, look at that. Let's see if we can't. So, piss on you. I don't know if that 4 power is going to hold them. What am I doing? was good. That's a good little attack right there. He was a fairly strong unit, but I had the better disposition of force. Definitely worked to my benefit there. Yeah. Oh, okay. We can attack him now. Oh, he's probably being supplied by C. Maybe he'll still surrender. He did. Nice. And the pockets I had over here either disappeared. Oh, here's another one. See, I gotta remember to find those. It's the 1st and 2nd Panzer Division and the, what was that, the 56th Panzer Corps. Wait a minute. That looked like some of the Panzer divisions didn't actually It's interesting and a little disappointing. I thought that, I mean, it said that it was the 1st and 2nd Panzer Division. I don't understand why they got away. At this point, there's no use crying over it. We didn't get him. We did not get him. Shit. Whole lot better. My cavalry units. Wait a minute, there's one. There we go. Cavalry Corps connected to Stavka. So we'll change that. These are all on the train. It won't let me do it. Let's try it again. We'll use the... No, won't let me do it. We'll try next time. next turn. Alright, I'm running a little long. I will call this episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.